guys, I'm going to do this video for those who are looking to get their motorcycle licenses or trying to do some research around, okay, who should I go with? And this is based in the UK because I'm in the UK, and I want to share some of my experiences. It may translate into helping someone make a decision, or one of you guys to make a decision around who to go with. And just a disclaimer, I'm not getting paid for this. Um, no affiliation with anyone. It's just my personal experience that I'm sharing with you guys to see if I can help in any way. So, who did I choose to go with? So, as the screen alludes to, the BMW Rider Training School. The specific one I went for is Royston, which is closer to me. That's near Cambridge and Bedfordshire, I think. Bedfordshire. That's close to me, and it's a place that I decided to go with based upon some reviews, etc., etc. I didn't get my CBT from this place. I got my CBT from a local training centre, which I regret doing because it didn't really prepare me the way it should have. And I'm basing that upon benchmarking it there and then taking it forward with BMW Rider Training and seeing how they deliver the course and what I learned there. It was night and day for me. Just a bit of a backstory on how I got my license initially, my CBT at least, or started the journey. So it's something I've always wanted to do. For how I've got a few friends that are into motorcycles. I've got motorcycles, colleagues at work who also have motorcycles, and it's always appealed to me. I've just never actually taken the plunge for whatever reason it may be. To get your license in the UK, at least, you need to get a theory test specific to motorcycles, and then you have to do a CPC, which is a compulsory basic training. You have to do that before you can continue down the modules that allow you then to get your A1 license, which is the full license. You can get an A2 license, which is restricted to particular CCs, but the full license is the A1. So the precursor to that is obviously getting your CBT, your theory test, and then progressing onto the other modules. And different training facilities, training academies, or whatever you want to call them, offer different offerings on how they can get you there. They're usually between 3 to 6 to 7 days of training, depending on your competencies, depending on your experience on two wheels. So a lot of people, they generally get their CBT, which lasts for 2 years. By the way, your theory test lasts for 2 years, so you have a window in which you need to get the full license by. Otherwise, you have to repeat the CBT qualification or training, and you have to do the theory test again. So, which is a pain, but some people just choose to do that every 2 years because a lot of the guys who are on their CBT just need a 125 or small moped because they're doing delivery driving and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so after getting my CBT locally, which the training for me was, in hindsight, was bad. But the main downside to that was it seemed like a conveyor belt exercise to get people in. So there was 4 people on the CBT getting their training at the same day, and there was one trainer, Billy the Butcher. He was just the guy who was training us, and it seemed rushed. There wasn't enough attention from the trainer to individuals like myself and some other people who were slightly struggling with certain maneuvering and all that sort of stuff. I struggled. I left my CBT, even though I got it. I got my training not confident, not particularly happy with slow maneuvering, which is something I think a lot of motorcyclists take time to, get themselves up to a comfortable standard. But nonetheless, it left me with me doubting whether I wanted to pursue getting a full license. So fast forward 2 years, fast forward about a year and 10 months, I had 2 months remaining for before my CBT ran out. And my theory test had slightly longer, but still that was coming to an end as well. So I'd need to repeat the process again. And I didn't want to do that. So now it was a decision time for me. Either I do it now or I probably will never do it. And I just decided to take the plunge. It's an investment financially. The courses out there range between like 900 to 1500. It all depends on the days that you choose to kind of go by. So after a bit of research, I knew I didn't want to go locally again. There were other offerings, training schools locally, but I decided, okay, who else provides training? Do any of these motorcycle brand manufacturers offer training, which I would naturally associate to quality because obviously their brand is hanging off this training facility or this training school. So I found one called BMW Rider Training. They've got a number of locations where they offer the training. You've got in Darlington, you've got in Exeter, you've got in Royston, Stoke-on-Trent, and then one in Scotland. So you've got 5 training centres in the UK that BMW Rider Training provide the training. So I decided to go with the Royston facility, which is close to me. It's right near Cambridge. It's right near Cambridge, closest to me at least. Right near Cambridge. It's a lovely part of the UK, and near Darlington. So I decided to go with them. Done some research on the website. It's a slick website. It's really nice, as you can see. They give you a breakdown to your 2 wheels. They provide different levels or intensity of training depending on your experience, and they also do advanced skills. So I put a link in my under the video within the description for you guys to go over. Please do so because there's a lot to kind of read on there. Now, this gives a good visualization of the different pathways, right, to get your training done and what's right for you. And I'm just going to go down the pathway I went down. So you want to ride to learn. You want to learn to ride. Have you ridden a motorcycle before? Yes. Do you have a valid CBT? Yes, I do. Are you regularly riding a geared 125 motorcycle? No, I was not. And then it goes straight down to the 6-day direct access course. Suitable for those with some experience. This also includes inclusive course provided adding practice time before you take the real test. Now, on the surface, that was the one I went for because obviously it's what I was directed towards. However, when I actually booked the course, them being as thorough as they are, um, their booking section sent me a questionnaire, asked me a number of questions, and some of the questions were around, okay, how much experience do you actually have, and when did you get your CPC? Because I got it 2 years, near enough 2 years prior. They said, okay, well, that's a long time for you not to have actually ridden anything, right? Even a 125, let alone a bicycle. So we would advise you to do the 7-day direct access course. And I said to myself, you know what? Yeah, I want to do that. Even though it was slightly more expensive. So at the time, I think it was about £1,500 to £1,600 UK money, which is a lot of money. However, which is comparatively it's a lot of money, right, to other offerings. But in terms of what you get for it, it's worth it, and the level of training is worth it. So I would say just think about it long and hard, and but don't think too much about it, man. Look, if you want to get training that's top notch quality, the facilities are quality, the instructors are quality. The bikes that you're riding on are BMW GS bikes. They're fantastic, right? They're lovely machines. It's a no-brainer for me at least. Not only that, one thing that separated these guys of BMW training was the 7-day course, or if you get even if you get your CBT from them, right, you're getting much more than you would from a normal training facility in the UK because they generally do a 1-day turnaround, right, with probably about 4 people on it. Good ones will probably do 2 to 1, but even then, it's a 1-day course. These guys say, look, 1 day, we don't think 1 day is good enough. And I agree with them, it's not. So they stretch out to 2 days. It's slightly more expensive, but again, it's worth it. And this 7-day direct access, it does that 2 days. So you're doing your theory, you're getting familiar with the bike. They take you on their own little circuit they've got. It's not well, it's relatively decent size, as good as it needs to be. They've got a little pad there that you ride around, do your maneuvering, and then on the second day they'll take you out on the road. Whereas in the 1 day course, everything's just compressed into that 6 hours or whatever it is. So it's quite full on. It might be worth thinking about that as well. Um, okay, so how much does it cost? Um, well, the Royston one at least. If I go book it now, 1650 in Royston, 7 day direct access, and obviously they're really busy. So I would think about booking quite early. See with a day one CPT plus and introduction motorcycle, and then CPT plus continued on for day one, and venturing on the road. And then you progress onto the migration to the BMW F750 GS. Obviously, the BMW G310R is a lovely bike. It's a great bike. It's fun to ride. The 750 GS is a bigger bike. It's one of the venture kind of bikes, right? It's beautiful. I loved it. So that's the bike I passed my test on, and I fell in love. I actually went into this with a vision and aspiration of me buying an R9T Scrambler, BMW R9T Scrambler, which is the one I've obviously got now. So that's the bike I've always wanted ever since I saw Mr. Cruz driving around in Italy. Was it in Italy? I don't know which Mission Impossible it was. I fell in love with that bike. So that's the one I wanted. But actually, riding around on the 750 GS, I left there saying, okay, I want a 750 GS because I enjoyed riding it that much. It's just a lovely bike, easy to control. It's nice, sturdy, big bike. So it's heavy as well. So you got to think about that if you're thinking about the GS. But then when I went into the Motorrad showroom, I my heart took me again to the Scrambler, which was there, and that was it. My mind was done. Just go with what you want. If it's within your means, just get what you want. Because if it's your first bike, don't get yourself a bike you're going to change in a year, or you're not going to be satisfied with, or you're going to say to yourself, "Oh, what if?" But now I don't have the means to get that bike. If you've got the means to get the bike you've always wanted, either wait or get it and just go for it. If you've got an A1 license, why restrict yourself to a low bike thinking, okay, I need some time to kind of learn the basics and all that? No, you learn the basics on the bike you want to learn. Obviously, it might be an expensive investment, and that you might be worried you could destroy in like a week of being on the road. But come on, if you're doing this type of training, hopefully you'll be once you are on your by yourself. You're on the road, you've got your license, you've done your training, you should be good enough. It depends on what kind of rider you want to be. Um, but anyway, nerves, I'm going to tell you right now off the bat, for those who've never been on a motorcycle before and will do the 7 days, 7 days is full on. It's intense. It is quite physically and mentally taxing. But it's enjoyable. It's one of the best 7 days I've had in a long time. I can tell you that. Back to back, especially when I'm talking about doing something that requires learning and intense training, practical theory. Theory is just basically listening, but the practical element at least. Yeah, it's full on. So be ready for that. If you live further away from the training center, you might want to consider getting a B&B or something close by. In terms of the gear, they provide you all the gear. You can bring your own if you've got it. Like me, I started off with all this excitement of being a biker, and I invested in some biker peripherals. This is when I was doing my CBT. I invested in an AVG K6 helmet, a beautiful helmet, which, yeah, I was one of those guys, all the gear, no idea, as they say. And so I had all the gear already with me, so I brought that with me. I did decide then to use their boots, the BMW boots, and and some of their protective clothing because why not? Switch to their flip up BMW modular helmets, which was great. So it's no dramas there. So you've got all the kit there. Don't invest in anything. That's one bit of advice I would say. If you're going down the journey of seeing if this is for you, because this is what it is, this training will give you a real life flavor of what it's like to be a motorcyclist. Again, you will probably go through different emotions around whether you like it or not because you're actually doing it, right? You'll figure that out quite quickly. But what I would say is I went through a period, even after my CBT and the debacle there, going into this facility, which is fantastic, lovely part of the UK. The facility, the training circuit was beautiful. The bikes were lovely. The trainers were great. 2-on-1 training. Even then, I struggled with the slow maneuvering, the figure of eight, things like that. That kind of made me slightly apprehensive again about whether this was right for me or I could get it. Or I could, whether it would click. Um, but I'm glad I persevered. So on day two, I was in effect thinking about jacking it in and saying, "This isn't for me," because I nearly dropped the bike on the road when I was taking up. But the trainer was brilliant. Shout out to my trainer Julie, who did the CBT day 1 and 2. She's fantastic. She was great. Nick, who does some of the YouTube content, you can check it out. I'll put the link in the description again. That will hopefully give you an idea of what they're about as well. But yeah, they're all brilliant, great. He saw us through day 5, 6, and 7, and he was immense. He was brilliant. What's key to this is not just about how to ride a motorcycle; it's about how to ride right safely, and that's what it's all about. Doing it with awareness because the majority of life on two wheels is about knowing your environment and pretty much doing a risk assessment all the time about what other people are going to do because you're vulnerable on two wheels and the right mind frame, not getting too complacent on the road and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, you'll learn it. It's not rocket science, but again, the importance is how to ride safely. I think that's the key, right? So at least for me, I'm not, and I guess I've never been one of these guys who wants to get a Hayabusa or a sports bike and tear it down the motorway. That's not in a t-shirt. That's not for me. I'm not interested. I would want to do that on a circuit, absolutely. Riding around on a race track, but nah, not for me. So that's why I decided to go for my scrambler, even though that's like pretty much a 1200cc motorcycle. It's a powerful beast, and it's got more than enough power. But yeah, so 7 days, of course, the price points they do differ as according to how many days you want to do your training for. They also do a guaranteed pass, a 7 day direct access that is a guaranteed pass, which is about £2,400, a lot of money, but they guarantee you'll pass at the end of it, and you get 500 back if you pass first time. So that's the incentive. So that pretty much goes closer to what a normal 7 day training session will be. You also have the 6 day training course, which is at a price point of £1,425. Again, you get everything: your bike insurance, dedicated 2-to-1, guaranteed 2-to-1 instructions, CBT certificate, and practical tests, and then module 2 tests paid for. So yeah, overall, my experiences great. I think the trainers were brilliant. The facility was great. It's out in the sticks as well, really. So nice open British countryside, A2 roads. Yeah, I would most certainly 100% recommend doing the 7 day training course for those who have little to no experience. and you won't regret it. I think you'll love it. And even if you don't, you can you can just speak to them beforehand and say, look, I don't know if I will. It's a big investment for me. If I don't like it after 2 days, can I just pay for the CBT? And I think they'll be all right with that. I don't know. You need to ask them, but the website and watch some of the YouTube videos delivered by Ian, or no, sorry, delivered by Nick, and yeah, see what you think. Take care, and see you soon.